This is a revised recording of the factoring homework that was due today where you needed to fill out a KWL. It was brought to my attention, thank you, to a couple of students who brought it to my attention that the original video that you were supposed to watch was having some technical issues. There was skipping in the recording, so it was really just kind of messed up. So thank you to those students who brought that to my attention. That's why I'm doing my best job to re-record this. I'm not going to say things exactly the way I said them the first time, but because it's a technical issue on my part, this gives everyone an extension on this assignment that was due today. So I'm going to walk back through the same question where we're going to do factoring using both the box method and the algebraic method. So we are going to use the same warm-up question from today, which should have been question number 1 on your paper. Same problem that I did in the first video. X squared plus 8x plus 7. Using the box method, remember this is different than multiplying because we're working backwards. When we did multiplying, we were given things on the outside and we needed to find the things on the inside. Now we have the inside and we have to factor out the outside. So what that means is, here's the rules that apply. This first term here will always be found in this first box. This last term here will always be found in the last box. Here's the part where we have to do thinking. In this diagonal is where we need to come up with two numbers that when I add them equal 8x. Now there's a bunch of combinations of that. So what I taught in class today as a refresher is that you need to do a factor tree. What numbers, when I multiply, give me 7? Well, there's 1 times 7, and there's -1 times -7 that give me 7. Out of these combinations, only one of them adds up to give me 8. And that is this one here. So that tells me that I know that 7x and 1x should be my combined efforts that make 8x. Okay, so we've got the inside. Now, to get our final answer, we've got to know these outside length and width. So this is where you ask yourself, what times what gives me x squared? It should always be x times x in this type of question. Also, what times x gives me 7x? Should be 7. And finally, what times x gives me 1x? It should be 1, which should also make sense because 1 times 7 equals 7. So the final answer, now that we have our outside, is x plus 1 times x plus 7. There's the reverse box method of taking the polynomial and factoring it back to its original parts. Okay, we're going to do the same question now algebraically. We're going to skip a couple steps because they're the same as they are here. So first of all, we're going to use the same question, and the first step is to do the same factoring tree. So really, this one has less work because all we have to do is use our information given. X times x gives me x squared, and what? When I multiply it gives me 7, and when I add it gives me 8. So my answer is right there in my factor tree. This looks pretty simple. It came straight from the factoring. The factoring is showing my work algebraically, and that's it. Now, I know my other video is a little bit longer because I showed you more steps on the algebraic method, but since I'm having to re-record this, I'm going to do that in a part 2 with a harder question. So be ready to watch that video as well. There won't be a KWL on it, but it is a good idea to watch it because it will help prepare you for your test later on this week. Thank you again for those of you who brought it to my attention that the first video didn't go very well. Thanks.